All right, let me ask you something. I mean, like, do you make a folk sound or a rock sound or anything like that?
I make a terrible sound.
Elephant boy!
It's funny, he's been asking about you too.
Hey, Mick, how long has it been, fella?
How long since what? About an hour and a half ago, I got it.
No.
Well, okay, see, then that's where it's at. If you think I'm a goof, man, I'm a goof. You know, what I think is what I am, right? And I don't think I'm a goof.
I don't think you're a goof.
Right, okay. I think I'm not a word. I hope I get this serious. But goof, no, I'm not.
All right, now, truly, why? Why do you want to be a monkey?
Well, it's my natural inheritance. I mean, that's life.
Rewind TV has been showing the Monkees here in the UK for the first time in a while, so I took the opportunity to watch season 1 properly for the first time. I watched it as a kid, but I can't honestly say I remembered any episodes as it was way too long ago. Now, most of us are familiar with the show and the band, most definitely the music, and when I enjoy a show like many of you, I want to dig a little deeper and find out more about the stars, the history of the programme, and the trivia that accompanies something you love. So let's take a deeper dive into the world of Micky, Davy, Peter and Mike as we take a look at the Monkees.
What is your name?
Nesmith. What's yours?
I've had a fascinating couple of weeks reading articles, watching YouTube videos and ordering books because I've fallen hook, line and sinker for the talented group of musicians and actors that make up the Monkees. Much of what I'm about to share comes straight from them via articles or interviews, and I've found them to be witty, honest, endearing and much missed. Thankfully, Micky is the remaining Monkee doing a sterling job keeping the legacy alive and well. The television series is considered to be an American kids comedy show with music, but the truth is that it's instantly bridging the gap between the generations with the clever, funny writing, innovative shooting methods and witty delivery. It ran from 1966 to 68, only 2 seasons in total, but many think it ran far longer, probably due to reruns, its global success, band reunion tours, and a real fondness for the cast. It's referred to as an answer to the Beatles film A Hard Day's Night, but with the real difference that the Monkees were a struggling band trying to break through.
Sugar.
Milk. 90 cc's of Kellogg's Rice Krispies. I think the patient's responding to the Rice Krispies, Doctor.
Congratulations, sir. A brilliant use of snap, crackle and pop. With enough Rice Krispies, will he be able to play the bass again?
Yes.
That's kind of weird. He never could before.
The creators had been trying to make the show for years, and it took until 1965 to get it made, with an ad in the trade papers leading to the final selection. Apparently, the majority of the casting didn't come from the ad, but there have been many references over time to famous faces who tried out and failed in their attempts to become a Monkee.
I did something similar on a radio show in Los Angeles in the early days when I was asked about who had auditioned for the Monkees.
Oh, I love this story.
And I was like, well, Stephen Stills, which is true.
They're plausible.
Stephen Stills did?
He was. No, I know he did. Stephen Stills did. Paul Williams, the famous singer-songwriter. And then I just straight-faced, I said, and Charlie Manson.
Yes!
He was around town at the time. He was singing and playing with...
The opening titles are arguably one of the most famous of all time, and most people will remember Season 2 over Season 1, as many television stations show repeats using Season 2 titles for every episode. The titles show clips of the boys monkeying around, and it shows us that 1960s health and safety certainly wasn't up to much.
Here we come, walking down the street. Get the funniest looks from everyone we meet. Hey, hey, we're the Monkees, and people say we monkey around, but we're too busy singing to put anybody down. We're just trying to be friendly. I'll come and watch you sing and play. We're the young generation, and we've got something to say.
They hook you in with their warm, smiling faces, name checks so that you become familiar with who each Monkee is, and a nod to the band enjoying themselves as they sing the theme tune and welcome you to another episode. Both sets of opening titles are instantly engaging, and bring me back to my bugbear about today's too cool for school non-existent TV themes, as I think they really set the tone for what's in store. And I never failed to laugh at season 1's opening as Davy becomes a human high striker in the hammer game and pulls the funniest face. The opening titles of the pilot are on YouTube, but I can't find any full episodes. It doesn't appear to be them singing, the song is much slower paced, and each monkey is doing their own thing. It is a little odd.
Here we come, walking down the street. We get the funniest looks from everyone we meet.
Now, Davy is a very talented youngster, fully supported by his family, and he was acting early, notably as Ina Sharpo's grandson in the early days of Coronation Street, the long-running UK soap. He switched to training to be a jockey when he sadly lost his mum at a very young age, and he talks in interviews about how his dad expressed a wish that he wanted his son to fly high. Fate intervened and he was scouted for the role of the Artful Dodger in the stage musical Oliver, and subsequently transferred to Broadway to play the role to much acclaim. He was appearing with members of the cast on The Ed Sullivan Show when the Beatles famously played, and he knew he wanted a piece of that pie. Fast forward and he landed his role in the Monkees and was instantly adored as the cute English one with impeccable comic timing and a great singing voice.
Oh, please don't kill me, please. Kill me. Kill me some more. And again, and again.
He was already a pro after years in the business and was an all-rounder due to his theatrical training and ease with interacting with the public. One of the strengths that's evident in all of the interviews and concert footage available on YouTube.
Come here. Oh, sorry, we just wanted to see
Thanks
him.
a lot, please.
Okay.
No pictures. After the show, please.
I used to know him.
He was famously in an episode of The Brady Bunch where Marsha is desperate to secure him for an appearance and sings his very catchy song Girl. Fans of the 1995 Brady Bunch movie will appreciate his appearance for a special encore of the song, plus an appearance from his fellow Monkees.
Girl, look what you've done to me.
Look, it really is Davy Jones.
Me.
Apparently, Davy preferred to be referred to as David by his friends and family when he wasn't in the celebrity world, and from everything I've watched and read about him, he's a real diamond of a guy and a true pro. He comes across as a genuinely nice man with a professionalism and work ethic that has become more of a rarity in today's world. He clearly adored his daughters and respected his previous marriages, as when I saw an interview with the Monkees on Loose Women, he was asked about bringing up his daughters, and he gave full credit to their mums for how beautifully they turned out.
Is this what you always wanted to do though? You started off on stage in musicals, you were in Oliver before you started with the Monkees, but now you seem to be staying with music rather than stage work.
Did you know Davy's nickname was the Manchester Cowboy due to his complete dedication to his horses? With one of his first royalty payments from the Monkees, he purchased some horses, including one called Chico Mono, which translates to Little Monkey. He continued to graft as a jockey and rode his first winner at the age of 50 after achieving his amateur riding licence in the late 70s. According to Sideline magazine, his daughters said he was a lifelong vegetarian, and they also discussed still looking after his horses to this day. In 2012, the Davy Jones Equine Memorial Foundation was created, and you can still donate online. Did you know he appeared on Through the Keyhole, and no surprises, his house had a lot of horse memorabilia.
A Manchester boy, life in the saddle, making music. Who lives in a house like this? David, it's over to you.
Did you know he appeared in many stage productions and TV shows, including a UK rarity from the late 70s called Horse and House? It was a kids' TV show about kids attempting to hide their horse in their house when their parents wanted to sell it, which in the vein of the Monkees appealed to many generations as it was quality viewing. You can actually still see his episodes on YouTube.
Get over here as soon as you can. Yeah, I know it's your day off, but look, a girl started work here this morning with a chestnut stallion, spitting image of Galactic Prince, a ringer if ever I saw one. We're really onto something, mate.
In an interview with TV AM in the 1980s, he claims he quit smoking by swallowing 2 cigarettes to make him sick, hence never wanting to touch them again. I think most of us would feel like that.
It was either stop smoking or you can't go on by Thursday. My throat was like this. You know what I did? A bit drastic. I ate a couple of cigarettes. I actually ate the cigarettes. It made me very, very ill. I threw up. And every time I thought about it after that, I thought, oh, tobacco, no. And I smoked for 20 years. I used to smoke on the set and all the time.
He speaks very wisely in interviews, and one of his great quotes regarding parenting is that you've got to give your kids roots and wings. Dating back to his early interviews, his sincerity always shines through. Did you know Davy Jones is responsible for David Bowie? As David was originally called Davy Jones too, but he had to change his name to avoid confusion. Did you know Davy opened shops including The Street in Zilch, and they sold cool contemporary fashion? I think the street was actually a type of market. Did you know you can watch his Epcot concerts? They're still available on YouTube, and when you watch them, they're really easy viewing and they're so entertaining, well worth a watch.
Your name, please.
What?
Thank you. Last name, what? And your first name, Mr. What?
It's not what.
Not what? Mr. Not what? What?
Wait a minute, that's not my name at all. My name is...
Occupation?
Peter, you dig? Pete.
You dig Pete. Occupation, Pete Digger. And your mother's maiden name?
Thompson.
Mother's name, Thompson. Sex, please.
Female, of course.
All right, Mrs. Not what?
No, my mother is female.
What do you do in your spare time, Mrs. Not what?
Listen, I'm a man.
In your spare time, you are a man.
No, that's not it at all. First of all, you got my name wrong.
Correction, name misspelled. Please give correct letter.
Well,
Correct letter is I. Name is not what, but nitwit.
Peter was said to be stung by the remarks calling them synthetic musicians in the 1960s when they weren't given the freedom to play on the Monkees' early releases. It's ironic really, as Peter was an incredibly talented musician who was as far removed from synthetic as you can get. He was a folk singer at heart and often referred to as the original hippie. Micky tells a funny story about Peter buying his first Beverly Hills house after the monkey money started coming in, and it became a party house, with him and Stephen Stills hosting all their friends for regular get-togethers. Micky also jokes that Peter introduced brown rice and kale to LA. There's a great YouTube video showing some of the homes that Peter lived in at the peak of their early career, and it really helps you to feel the energy that was surrounding the group at the time. Jimi Hendrix lived with Peter for a while after they met and bonded. Although Jimmy didn't love the Monkees' musical style, he got on very well with Peter and the remainder of the group. It's reported that Peter himself had a difficult relationship with his past as a monkey, but he did eventually come to embrace it after lots of ups and downs. When he left the band, he continued to work in music and also took some time to teach, something which he appears to have really enjoyed. I'd love to know what some of his past students remember about Peter Tork as their teacher. I found a really interesting interview from 1982 where Peter's happy to talk about the Monkees, and he also discusses his current tour at the time. He also mentions a rock quiz pilot that he'd recently recorded with hopes that it would be picked up for a series.
We did a TV pilot for a rock and roll game show called It's Rock and Roll. Real startling clarity of originality. It's rock and roll. The format on the pilot didn't give me, in my brilliant wit, the free rein that I had hoped for, but I did get in a few good cracks. Commander Cody was also on.
There are lots of YouTube clips of his acting appearances in a variety of shows, particularly in the 90s, such as Boy Meets World, California Dreams, and even a Pizza Hut commercial with his fellow Monkees and Ringo Starr.
Good idea, Ringo.
Yeah. Not the lads I had in mind.
Large, just $9.99.
When the movie That Thing You Do was released in 1996, Peter remarked in an interview that he loved the neo-60s sound of the song, which he said was actually very hard to achieve successfully. This led them to working with the writer Adam Schlesinger on a future Monkees album.
Every time you do that thing you do.
Peter had a very acclaimed band. I don't find it easy to say at all. I can't even say that. Shoe Suede Blues, a blues band, and they also covered Monkees hits in that fashion too. I'd love to have seen them, but again, you can see clips on YouTube. Mike is often referred to as the most complicated personality of the Monkees, but he's clearly stated over the years that he had nothing but affection for that time, and even when he was absent from reunions, it wasn't personal, it was often work related. He was already married with a son when the Monkees started, and his first wife Phyllis was very well liked by fans, and she didn't experience any of the hostility that often surrounds wives and partners of celebrities. Apparently Phyllis and Micky's first wife Samantha were planning to open a boutique called Two of a Kind, but from what I can see, it never materialised. Mike was a natural leader, and many articles and interviews state that he was comfortable from the start negotiating on their behalf and pushing for more creative freedom. He wrote songs for the group, and many are favourites amongst fans, such as You Just Might Be the One from the Headquarters album, a record where they had much more creative control.
Someone to understand them, and you just may be the one.
Did you know Susanna Hoffs, the lead singer of the Bangles, covered the song for the album Bright Lights?
Someone to understand them, and you just may be the one.
I've read that although Mike and Peter didn't always gel, Peter did actually live with Mike for a while, but there's not a lot of information about it, so I don't know if there's more to the story. If you know more, I'd love you to leave a comment for me. When Peter died though, Mike told the Australian programme Studio 10 that they never liked each other, but he then became visibly upset when discussing it further, and that led Micky Dolenz to remind us that the group is more like siblings than merely bandmates.
Because we were brothers, we are. We're as close as you could possibly get to being siblings.
Here's my 2 cents. I never liked Peter, and he never liked me. So we had an uneasy truce between the two of us. He was, as near as I can tell, among his peers, he was very well liked. I know Micky liked him. But we barely had a civil word to say to each other. Hey, Pete, hey, Nez, and that was it. But I was sitting there when my assistant Melody got the call. Peter died. And I'm going to do it now. And I broke into tears. So did you. What are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Mike enjoyed a friendship with John Lennon, and he was actually a guest at the recording of the Beatles' A Day in the Life. You can see him in the accompanying video. Now, when he was asked, he described the atmosphere as memorable, playful and creative. After Mike left the band, he founded the first national band, which many refer to as a pioneering country rock group, and it's loved by fans, but they feel it's often underappreciated by the masses. Did you also know there's a strong entrepreneurial streak in Mike's family? And you might know that his mother Bet invented the correction fluid liquid paper. If you're in the UK though, you might know it best as Tipp-Ex.
That's me, Michael Nesmith. While I was making music with the Monkees, a very smart secretary was also coming up with another #1 hit, liquid paper correction fluid. That secretary was my mom. That's right, my mom invented liquid paper.
Mike also created one of the first music videos for his song Rio in 1977, and he went on to develop pop clips for Nickelodeon in the early 80s. He saw this as video content for TV in the way that audio content's made for the radio, and sold this to Time Warner, where it was eventually developed into MTV. He won the first music video Grammy in 1982 for his surreal comedy sketch and music video compilation Elephant Parts. It's referred to as the first commercial video record, and it's still fondly referred to all these years later. Thankfully, it's available on YouTube if you want to check it out, and I was able to do so, and it was very funny.
Well, you made it. I sure am glad you did, because the show's just been, hi fellas, show's just been coming out wonderful.
what we're doing is we make these short comedy films and music films, and some of them are just hilarious, and then we string them together, and that makes the show, television part. And this is a sound stage. You get to see the crew inside and everything. And it's been sort of hi, Twyla. It's Twyla Littleton. She's in the Gary Shaming routine. It's been an interesting experience, you know, because I haven't worked with the networks in a while. What's it been since the Monkees, which was 11.5 billion years ago. And I didn't know really what to expect. I've been making these videos, you know, like elephant parts and, hi, Ava.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, Jim. You get to see this in a minute, too.
Mike has also produced movies and music videos, including the cult classic Repo Man, and the videos for Lionel Richie's All Night Long, and The Way You Make Me Feel for Michael Jackson. I didn't know that until recently. There's a great clip from 1986 where Mike is asked about his musical highlights of the year so far, and it's great to hear him name-checking the names of the day. He mentions Eurythmics, Peter Gabriel's Sledgehammer, and Robert Palmer, so I think that might be Addicted to Love.
Musical highlight? The new Eurythmics, the new Peter Gabriel. What else? New Peter Gabriel. New Robert Palmer. The new Robert Palmer video is really something.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Video?
Yeah. Oh, it's good.
Sledgehammer?
No, that's Peter Gabriel.
No, I know, Peter Gabriel.
Yeah, nice.
What about plans to direct a video of the Monkees? Or either of you?
You never know.
Mike told Rolling Stone magazine that he adjusted his view of the nostalgia element of his work when he started going to fan conventions and he came to love them. He developed a real fondness for this shared history. His entrepreneurial forward-thinking vision continued with the launch of Video Ranch, a virtual online environment which hosted virtual events and allowed contributors to interact with each other. He often hosted fan meet and greets, and some of them, which were virtual of course, are available on YouTube to watch. I think Mike seemed like a very cool, laid-back kind of guy. Apparently Mike became an ordained minister in 2011 to marry two of his friends in Austin, Texas, and he was still touring when he was fit and able to, right to the end. Micky was a child star, starring in Circus Boy in the 1950s, and Davy references in several interviews over the years that he enjoyed watching Micky when they were kids, and they struck up a mutually appreciative friendship from the get-go, just because they had early starts in the industry that they had in common.
They just have a bite. Sugar Pops for snacks.
They taste just right.
Kellogg's Sugar Corn Pops. Sugar Pops are tops. Here's the box with nutrition, let's pour some out. You just add milk.
And then you shout.
Kellogg's Sugar Corn Pops.
Bang, bang.
Sugar Pops are tops.
He was billed under the name Micky Braddock in the show, and as the Monkees drummer, it's ironic that there's a clip from Circus Boy where Micky says, "I can't play the drums."
Well, they do have drummer boys in the Army.
Well, I can't play a drum.
I can teach you. Let's get back. Get started.
I think Micky understood the goonish, beyond the fringe humour of the Monkees from the beginning, and he understood the mass appeal of irreverent comedy. He was right, and it still works today.
We spent $35 million on the space program. Now, some people say we should have given it to the poor.
Oh, now what do the poor know about running a space program?
There's an interview with Micky on the Ed Bernstein show from 2001, where Micky states that he didn't realise the cultural impact of the Monkees until their 20-year reunion in 1986, and he says that's when it really hit him.
Right.
Now, when did you know that the Monkees were going to be a success?
Well, the first inkling I got, I think, was the Christmas of the first year after the show was on the air. We were still filming every day and weren't going out much into the public. The show had been on the air about 3 months, I guess, September to December, and I was out Christmas shopping as I did every year in the Valley in LA, and I walked into a mall, my local mall that I always went to Christmas shop, and all of a sudden there was people screaming and running at me, and I thought it was a fire. And so I turned around and I ran outside to get outside the building, and then turned back around and realized that they were all running at me. And that was the first inkling I had that it was a successful show. But it wasn't really till years later, till like '86, that I realized what an impact it had had on the cultural landscape of American pop culture.
When Mickey's asked the question about the similarity between the Monkees and the Beatles, he always references the fact that in the show, the Monkees are struggling, they're always trying to make it, and they never actually did, which of course is contrary to real life and nothing like the Beatles.
I'm not sure competition is the right word. You know, we were almost like the next generation. Our fans were typically the younger brothers and sisters of the Beatles, but I was a huge Beatle fan when I first met the Beatles. I met Paul. All I could do to stop not ask for his autograph, you know. We were all huge Beatle fans.
When the Monkees finished, he did quite a bit of voiceover work, like cartoons, things like that, and he moved to the UK for many years to work successfully as a producer-director. One of the most famous shows he did here in the UK was Metal Mickey, and it's a fondly remembered children's TV show which features a robot and lots of well-known UK actors. He's always appeared to be happy to make cameo appearances in a variety of shows, and he also featured in a music video in the 90s for PJ and Duncan, otherwise known here as the huge TV presenters Ant and Dec, when they covered Stepping Stone.
So look out, the last I heard, he was in a garage somewhere.
I feel as if a great mind has been taken off my weight.
Mickey probably says it best when he said that, like sibling relationships, the four of them shared all of the emotions and a bond that will forever remain. And did you know Mickey is spelled with no E, it's not Mikey, and he must have had to correct it more than we'll ever know, as there's a Big Breakfast clip which shows us that he's scored out his name badge. It's got an E in it and he's just doing a big line because on the Big Breakfast, which was a chaotic breakfast show, didn't matter who you were or how famous, they made you wear a name badge, and it's Mickey, the big E scored out. He's also very aware of the rarity of the success of the Monkees bringing together a TV show and a band, and he sometimes references the UK group S Club 7 and the US show Glee as some of the few that have managed to achieve a level of success in the same vein, although I would argue not to the same level. Here's some Monkees trivia. Did you know there are various episodes that ran short by a minute or so? And they're actually really fun to watch because they fill the time with interviews, or in some cases it's even clips of their screen tests. I think it's really innovative and it worked really well. Some clips are on the comical side, some are quite candid. There's a funny chat about Davy's haircut. There's also opinions on recent riots that were occurring, so you do get a lot of variation, but it's well worth a watch.
Hey fellas, we do a lot of pictures that have fights in it and gangsters and everything. Do you ever get into fights yourselves?
We had an incident in Hawaii where somebody remarked about my hair.
So what?
My hair being long, you know?
Yeah.
And there was like 10 big guys and little old me.
Are you sensitive about that?
I'm not sensitive, you know, if it's like, you know, in jest, somebody laughs and says, you know, just one thing. But if they carry on about it, it makes me mad.
The Beatles loved them and they didn't see any competitiveness. They instead admired them musically and comedically. Apparently John Lennon told Micky Dolenz when they met that the Monkees were more like the next Marx Brothers. The Jimi Hendrix Experience supported them as their opening act in 1967, but it was short-lived as the audience was way too young. They did get on great though, and they remained friends even if their musical tastes were slightly different.
A new group with the Monkees is called the Jimi Hendrix Experience, and they joined the Monkees concert tour of the US.
Now the Head movie is very 60s and it's what I'd describe as off the wall. It's psychedelic and they say the script was created with, shall we say, the help of pharmaceuticals. And there are moments when they make a lot of sense about what they did to actually achieve that. As part of the musical history though, it's an enjoyable watch and you can see where they wanted to take the concept. And it's when you connect it to that time in history, you can see how they got there. It's an interesting watch. There was also a TV special called 33 1/3 Revolutions per Monkey, and it's also very psychedelic. It can only be described as very 1960s. Again, it's enjoyable if you're prepared to watch it in the context of the time. And I'm thankful to YouTube that people have uploaded the clips of these specials, because otherwise I wouldn't be able to watch them. And a lot of us are seeing them now for the very first time.
Who are you?
I am Micky Dolenz.
Wrong, you are monkey number one.
No, I am monkey number one.
Who are you?
I am Peter Tork.
Wrong, you are monkey number two.
No,
I am monkey number 2. Who are you? I am Michael Nesmith. Wrong. You are monkey number 3. No, I am monkey number 3. Who are you? Davy Jones. And you are monkey number 4. No, I am monkey number 4.
In the 80s, when they reunited for their 20th anniversary, there was genuinely no beef with Mike. He was unable to join them due to work commitments. The 3 participating Monkees were full of energy and genuinely happy to be back celebrating their work and creating new music, and Mike did join them when he could. They did subsequently reunite as the full lineup years later, and there's a lot of interviews and concert footage of them doing what they do best online, all very entertaining.
Hey, what's that?
That is our ticket to success. Drink that, and anytime you want, you can throw up.
Throw up?
I'll get it.
Now, this is an interesting one. It's been documented that the FBI had a file on the Monkees, and a small section was released in, I think it was early 2000s, with Micky Dolenz in particular pushing to find out more. Now, apparently it was focused around supposed subliminal messages depicted on screens during their live performances in the 1960s. I would like to see more of that. I have a feeling there's no footage there though. Did you know there's a huge Monkees memorabilia market, both new and vintage, ranging from the Warner Music merch store, where you can buy items such as magnets, t-shirts, hats, hoodies, collectible dolls, all the way to eBay, where you can buy an original Corgi Monkey Mobile, and here currently is over £200. If you're a Monkees fan, you'll know there's been various album releases since the original 60s albums, and in the 90s I remember buying my mum their greatest hits CD for Mother's Day. Got it here. I also remember in 2012 we went to see the musical Monkey Business, and it featured their music, but it focused on 4 teenagers hired by a dodgy manager to impersonate the band. I loved it, lots of theatrical scrapes and humorous scenarios. I would go and see it again. And here we are, a trip down Monkey memory lane, and we've barely scratched the surface. I want to know what your memories are of the Monkees. Do you have a favourite song? Do you have a favourite episode? A favourite member of the band? Memories? Let me know your comments, and I have a feeling we might just revisit the Monkees again soon. So we're still a new channel, and I would love it if you could like and subscribe. Some people are leaving comments and leaving suggestions for future videos, so if you want to do that, go ahead soon. I'm always happy to take a look and see what I can do. Have a great day. I'll see you again soon.